All right, so big story coming up. I was noticing on the weekend that my kids don't watch Saturday morning cartoons anymore. My youngest one, the other kids are too old. But I was remembering how much fun they had. And I thought, I guess one kid has different tastes. And I turned on the TV, and it was Teen Titans, which is the shittiest, stupidest, crappiest, flash animation, boring reboot cartoon ever. It's you can't look at it. It just looks like an ad for insurance.
It always stunk. Yeah, it stinks.
Doesn't it look like a Geico ad or something? I don't even feel good seeing that. Like, I feel bad inside looking at this shit. Look at it. Just total lack of creativity. So fucking dull. But anyway, that's all that's on. And I realized I mentioned this earlier on another episode, we had a cartoon renaissance from 2010 to 2018. What happened? Well, I looked into it, and I found out. Women happened. Women ruined cartoons. Women ruin everything. That is the motto for this show. We should make t-shirts that say that. They ruined voting. They ruined politics. They ruined Canada. They ruined Britain. Women should have the right to vote. Women should not vote. And obviously, when I say women, I'm talking about the bastardized, twisted, political activist version we created. Women used to be normal. Women, when they were kindergarten teachers, back when I was a kid, they were nice old ladies with big tits that let boys be boys and encouraged boys to be boys. Now they're at war with boys. There's literally a war on boys, on masculinity, on the patriarchy. And these infected shit chests, remember why I call them shit chests, right? Women have this magical gift to give life, to be creators of life. And it's like the glowing thing in Iron Man's chest. We've removed that and replaced it with a piece of shit. So they're shit chests. So I should say, to be more accurate, shit chests ruin everything. Childless, unmarried cunts. And I was wondering, and this took me all day, by the way, I was wondering what happened to cartoons. And I did some research and discovered they've been overrun by women. I thought it was fags. As a proud homophobe, I initially blamed homos. But as you'll learn over this little ride we're going on, fags have nothing to do with it. They're on both sides of the equation, really. But gay activism, which is predominantly a female thing, you know what I mean? It's like saying you shouldn't hate gays and telling kids that and brainwashing kids is more a female thing than a gay thing. I don't really understand it. There's more straight female gay activists than there are gay activists. You get me? Anyway, this is what it was when I was a kid. Saturday morning cartoons. It was the best time of the week. You got up early. You don't have to go to school. You have the whole house to yourself. You make some fucking candy cereal if your parents are nice enough. My parents usually just let us have Cheerios. You put sugar on them. But you probably had Fruit Loops and cool shit at your house. And you'd watch from like 7 till noon. And it was all kinds of different cartoons going on. And there wasn't a lot on TV back then when I was a kid in the 70s. And I'm looking back at these cartoons now and realizing they kind of sucked. Like Captain Caveman was good. He was I think he was an offshoot of the Wacky Races. Check out the Wacky Races. That was just all these different characters from all these different shows having a race with stupid, repeating 1950s looking backgrounds. Terrible cartoon. But we fucking loved it. Loved watching them all go on this big long race and cheat. Look how good the drawing is there, by the way. High quality talent. Another weird garbage cartoon that we've loved was Shmoo. Back then, I think there was a Super Shmoo. He was a ghost who could change his body into any shape. What's the music for that? The Incredible Shmoo. There he is. He's gonna please you. This incredible Shmoo. Garbage. Oh, he can be a pogo stick. You can ride him. Ghosts can ride him too, I guess. He chases ghosts. He was fun. Anyway, that tradition didn't die. It just kept going and going. Now it's over forever because of women. Shit chests. So just before it died, it actually had a stunning renaissance. And my two oldest kids got to be in the eye of the storm for that. My youngest boy, he's 8 now. I put the TV on. There's nothing on but Teen Titans and SpongeBob, who's gay, by the way, now. That's women's fault. And so he just looks at his iPad and he watches YouTubers talking about viral videos and shit. No cartoon mornings for my youngest boy. And my other kids were there for the Swan Song. Now, let me tell you how awesome it was from 2010 till 2014. Right? Maybe even later than that. Maybe it's more recent. I think Trump was a big no. So around 2016, it started to get shitty. It was actually when that guy groped a chick. Anyway, we'll get to that. So there was Sanjay and Craig. That was there at the end. That was my old buddy Dave Cooper and Johnny Ryan. Johnny Ryan, you may know from Vice magazine, and if you check out his Instagram, he is the most offensive cartoonist in the world. So offensive, in fact, that he didn't credit himself as Johnny Ryan for this cartoon. It was Jay Ryan. So parents wouldn't look him up. But there was no agenda with this cartoon. It was just as cool as possible. That was the goal. Can we hear the audio there? I mean, look at this quality compared to the shit I grew up with. It's fucking amazing. What a lot of work, too. Most cartoonists these days are on Adderall or Ritalin. I mean, you have no idea how many drawings you have to do to even with computers, to show what I just showed you here. It's thousands of drawings. And they were all great. Another fantastic show, Uncle Grandpa. So fucking weird. All of these shows had the weirdest plot. And I remember watching things like Uncle Grandpa going, I couldn't come up with this. I'd have to take acid to come up with this. It was just levels of creativity that were way beyond the pale. Who's this now?
Strange creatures just waiting to be observed.
Oh, they're doing that guy that we make fun of who thinks animals are cool.
There's a guy who watches other living
Skip
things.
ahead.
To be.
And there was just zero politics to this show. Skip it way ahead. This isn't a very typical episode. His fanny pack is magic. He can time travel.
Physically exhausted or in some.
Yeah, that's a bad example of Uncle Grandpa. It was fucking over the top. Another fantastic show from this Zenith Renaissance was Regular Show. That was 2013 to 2017. Right? Remember these guys?
Hey, Margaret.
Where have you been? It feels like I haven't seen you in forever.
Again, the quality of the drawing is just amazing.
Well, I hope you're not getting your coffee someplace else.
No way.
And I'd hear my kids laughing, too. That was the other thing about, especially Sanjay and Craig. They had one episode of Sanjay and Craig where this guy was unbarfable. He's never barfed, and you can't make him barf. And Sanjay and Craig devote their entire day to trying to make him barf. And I could hear my kids laughing their heads off. This show would constantly make them laugh their heads off, and they'd be imitating the voices. Of course, the winner was probably Adventure Time, especially when you're looking at creativity. This guy went on. He did a podcast with, what's his name? That guy, you know this guy? Russell, Duncan Trussell. He animated Duncan Trussell's podcast on Netflix, which is cool. What's that called? Midnight Gospel, I think. That was awesome. But this, again, the characters over the top. Weirdness. Just fascinating to look at. And the drawings were beautiful. I mean, that could have been a franchise that went on forever. Like, it was way more fun to watch than, you know, any Mickey Mouse or any other long-term franchise. This could have been a cartoon for generations. But it also died. I'm going to tell you why soon. And then there's Steven Universe. It's still going. And I remember when it came out, this was the end. And when it first came out, it was just very weird. And she's a good artist. But I started to smell a rat. And she's interesting because she survived the purge by pretending to be gay. I don't think she's gay. Her boyfriend's this big fat black dude. But she's bi. And she changed all her content into be pro-gay, gay activism stuff. Why did she do that? Because she's gay. No. She did that because women took over all networks, all cartoons, all women now. So, if you want to appease women, you make it anti-racist and anti-homophobia. And you hammer that propaganda to our kids. Now, sometimes it gets disturbing, like that Blue's Clues thing, where we were wrong, by the way. At the end, there is a pedophile flag in it. Did I include that in the notes? I don't think I did. So, at best, we have women ruined cartoons. Yeah, it's the very last thing. At worst, we have fags trying to groom our kids to fuck them. Turn it up. Minor attracted persons. So, when we showed this video previously, the Blue Clues Big Parade video on, I think it was last episode, Friday's episode, the clip cut too short to show this. But there it is, clearly displayed. I'm more optimistic. I tend to not give people too much credibility, and I think this is just political correctness makes companies all female, and females do things, shit chests, make things all gay activism, politically correct activism. So why did it happen? It all started with a cunt. So there's this cartoon, Clarence, 2014 to 2018. Fucking brilliant show, great artists. And these kids are nerds. They're all art school kids who just draw and drink and party and draw and draw and draw. And they create these shows, and they're kind of weird around chicks. They're already nerds, then they're hyper with the Adderall. And this guy, the Skylar Page, I think his name is, right? That's the first article there. He's accused of groping a chick. Now, everyone in LA is a pussy. Nerds are pussies. People on Adderall overthink things. You have 3 pussy factors. And what do? They totally flipped on this guy. All his friends shit on him. Fuck you. Just like our buddy Kale. They all stabbed him in the back and ran as soon as he was charged with sexual assault. You know what he did? He overhugged a girl at a party. Big fucking deal. So scroll down. That's the guy. His life's over. Oh, ruined. He just sits. He's off in Arizona where the rent is cheap, and he just draws all day. I don't even think he's a job. This is the bitch that ruined Cartoon Morning forever. Cartoon Morning probably started in the 50s, and it absolutely sucks now. Now, the man behind the cartoon renaissance is, believe it or not, a fag. He is this guy, Rob Sorcher, Sorcher. And this guy, he brought Adventure Time to Cartoon Network, and he was behind all of these brave choices, these weird shows. No, that's the letter of the guy stabbing him in the back. Pull that up. Yeah, this is Clarence head of story. Skylar Page assaulted a female artist. She's a piece of shit, and they should give him the boot. This is his friend. Totally just wiped him up. Fuck you, go die. I have a real bee in my bonnet when it comes to loyalty. That's one thing that really pisses me off when people don't have someone's back because they're unpopular. It's a sign of the decline of Western civilization when we don't have the fortitude to stand up for our friends and defend the innocent. So this guy, Rob Sorcher, he's not in the notes. This homo, let me see. This is why I say it's not a gay thing. No, that's the guy now. See, that's Sam Register. He's the guy who's taken over Cartoon Network, and that's why it's all shitty reboots like Teen Titans. It's probably on right now. They just play it on a loop all morning. And he's a Time Warner company man. I think he's a fag. And he has no balls. No, that's Rob Sorcher. He has no creativity, so he just ruined the Cartoon Morning. And this guy had Clarence's back. He said, look, the guy just overhugged someone at a party. Take it easy. He's a nerd. He's awkward. Let's not fire him and ruin his life. So then they got madder and madder at him. Trump was in office. George Floyd was killed. And they said, you know what, Rob? You're not enough of an activist. You're fired. And they drove him out, replaced him with Pussy Man. Again, both guys gay on both sides of the thing here. Replaced him with Pussy Man Sam Register. And now all cartoons are all chicks. And the woman Steven Universe, remember, she was part of the Renaissance. She was cool. And then she saw which way the wind was blowing, and she goes, I'm trans, I'm gay. I'm super gay. What? You have a black dick in your mouth. Oh, I'm a man being gay. Okay. So that's her there. She's a survivor, is what she is. She's jumped full-on trans bi activist. Getting reamed by a black dude every night, but pretending that she's trans. total and utter horseshit, and she survived the death of comedy. So she's out there in the desert, tumbleweeds are going by, and she's still alive because she's a bullshitter. And this is what we're stuck with now. So we've gone from, there's also The Amazing World of Gumball. It was also part of the Renaissance. Now that one had the kids laughing their heads off, like falling off the couch. Do you have Gumball? Sorry, this is slightly out of order. But that one bitch ruined it. Just like, Terry Richardson is a good friend of mine, photographer. One 18-year-old cunt, calls him a rape apologist in a tweet and says to H&M, who was one of his clients, the guy was making $5 million a year, one of the biggest photographers ever. And she goes, are you going to explain you working with rape apologist Terry Richardson? They go, we're not working with him anymore. He lost that client, and that started a whole domino effect. This is way before cancel culture. And his career's over now. Done. Because of one cunt. And that one bitch that got overhugged destroyed not just the Clarence guy, but the entire Cartoon Network and changed into chickdom. Okay, so this is who we have now. We have, of course, we have Rebecca Sugar. That's the girl I just told you about who pretends she's trans. And we have Shady Petowski. Shady Petowski is a dude who thinks he's a chick. This is way down, Ryan. He does a cartoon called Danger in Eggs. This, a trans showrunner on how to bring LGBTQ truth to kids' TV. Look at that guy. And remember, this is a picture he chose that is the best out of all of them. So he looks even more ridiculous in real life. But he is doing trans activism. And, kids don't like that. They don't like gay propaganda. They don't have a problem with it. And it pisses me off that you think they do. Like, all of this gay propaganda is based on the assumption that gay kids are getting bullied. That's just not true. Gay is a type of way to fuck. Kids don't like fucking. It's not. So stop telling them what pansexual means or showing them trans flags. It's not on their radar. They don't need to know about sex. In fact, I would argue your goal as a parent is to push sex as late as humanly possible. You don't want your daughter knowing what sex is till she's 16. And even then, I would prefer 18, obviously. But all of this sex activism in kids is a bizarre female trait. Look at Noelle Stevenson. She's a dyke, allegedly. She does She-Ra, Princess of Power. That's the next one. So that's a lesbian saying she invites everyone into comics. What? Thank you for finally making gay-friendly cartoons. Or you have Dana Terrace. She does The Owl House. More chicks. And these are just the chicks that are the creators. The background animators. There she goes. She doesn't look like a lesbian. She says she's a lesbian. And she says she's married to some other animator. But she doesn't have gay face. Who knows anymore? That's the thing. When women control something, you got to go gay. You got to be a gay activist. You got to be gay yourself, or you're canceled. Or this guy, Gravity Falls, is not gay, but he's a fervent gay activist, and he's mad at Disney. Look at him calling out Disney's pride, hypocrisy. And he says, Disney said everyone's welcome here, right? Look at all those flags. Oh, I'll show you something later about these corporations that have, like, BMW, all their logos are all rainbow, but then you check the Middle East Twitter account of that corporation, no rainbows. I'll show you that when we're done this. So this is, he's pretending to be mad at Disney because he goes, they canceled a lot of the gay scenes in Gravity Falls, my cartoon. They weren't gay enough. So even when you're not gay, you're a gay activist or you're done. And guess who else is dominating the animation world now? Has left school as an assistant professor and does mostly background, but is at all the meetings discussing the content. Who is one of the most influential and powerful people in post-Renaissance shit cartoon land? The desert of creativity, the boring hellhole that has become Saturday morning cartoons? This cunt.
which you claim support the idea that illegal immigrants are dangerous or criminals.
I cited a number of statistics that show that they
this?
commit federal crimes at a significantly higher rate than native-born Americans. Yeah.
Okay. So what role do you think that structural racism and inherent bias has to play in those statistics?
I don't think that the people who enter this country illegally are forced to do so by some sort of systemic racism. There's no systemic American racist going down to El Salvador and saying, you better get up and sneak into the United States. And there's nobody in the United States
This is too
who forces
sophisticated of a joke for her, Michael.
illegally to commit crimes. I think the premise of this question is actually quite offensive, though it's a popular assumption, which is that illegal aliens somehow don't have free will. It's the assumption that illegal aliens are somehow morally uneducated. They have no sense of right and wrong. They have no ability to control their emotions and their impulses. This is obviously profoundly racist and not true. We have free will. We have the ability to do what we want to do. This is why, by the way, the majority of Hispanic people in the United States and Hispanic voters oppose illegal immigration. The races are exactly the same. The ethnicity is exactly the same. The question of crime is different because race does not determine your criminality.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that people of color are more likely to be convicted of crimes unfairly than white people.
They're more likely to commit certain crimes. That's true.
She's an assistant professor. Now, Knowles has done a few talks. They're always with perfectly normal names that freak the fuck out of academics. Like this, I think, was Build a Wall. Yeah, build a wall. I think I'm a liberal. I'm going to start calling myself a 2004 liberal because that was a normal thing to say that Bill Clinton wanted and Obama wanted. They wanted strong borders. Everyone does. That's perfectly normal. It's not a right-wing thing. And then his other talk that freaked everyone out and gave the faculty panic attacks, I'm not exaggerating, was men are not women. That was the other thing. And she gets up there and her thing is, go back, we don't want to lose her. She gets up there and says, speech is violence. Like, these people are professors. One guy, this Italian dude came up when, he's a professor there. He came up and he said 1492, whatever, was when a racist genocider, that's not a word, came to this country and killed. Christopher Columbus never came to America. This is a history professor telling Michael Knowles that. You're going $250,000 in debt to listen to these assholes. And this cunt ruined, is an example of this onslaught of Saturday morning cartoon destroyers.
It is true. I mean, what I just said is true.
I'm not quite sure where you're getting your statistics from, and you choose
from
to
the federal government.
You choose to interpret
from
them
the
in your
Bureau of Justice Statistics and Department of Homeland Security.
By the way, she's been to like every art school in Britain and then went to art school in America. You know what that means? Rich. She's a rich girl. You can tell by her accent too. She's posh.
It would have been nice if you could have let me finish my sentence. Anyway,
I was answering your question.
You are using your statistics for your own political agenda, and that's your prerogative.
I'm citing statistics because they're true.
I'm talking about the fact that I'm faculty here. I also support our protester in the back.
What do you support specifically? Do you think that anti-immigrant rhetoric is violent free speech?
Well, yes, because of the reasons
you think that speech is violence?
No, I think that
that's what that sign says.
The conversation that you're having is oppressive.
Anyway, sorry. We could watch that all day, and we already have watched it. And that's her. Sarah Beebe is her name. You can look up her website. You can tell she's one of these artists that just she's put in her 1,000 hours, but she doesn't have talent. You know what I mean? Like Joe Matarese. You know those comedians that don't have the sprinkles, but they bust their ass, and you go, okay, you have a career. That's clearly someone without artistic talent who has just worked hard at it and been painting for, 5 art colleges worth of time. So she personifies this problem. And now let's look at what cartoons are like now. We already covered this in a letter, right? But let's just briefly go over these. This is the PC Bias on Cartoon Network. So this is the girl who does Steven Universe. These are those 4 or 5 videos, 1, 2, 3, 4 videos that are under the PC Bias. This is the Steven Universe chick who pretends she's gay. Be anti-racist. This is what cartoons are like now. And kids don't like participation trophies where everyone gets one, and they don't like gay propaganda, so they don't watch this shit. It's boring. My kids, I couldn't. You know what I used to do to fuck with them? I would go up and go, oh, I think we're going to turn off the TV, guys. Yeah, we're going to turn off. And I would go to put my thumb on the off button, and they'd scream and cry, I'd be filming this. And then I would go, oh, maybe we're not. And they would just go from no to back to normal. I could turn them on and off by threatening to turn on and off the TV. Now, this shit, this fucking propaganda garbage.
It totally does.
I mean, we've already covered it, right? Turn it up a bit.
Doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry. Seriously, I didn't know. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's the one where he says, this doesn't happen. Kids don't get bullied for being gay. And they go, just because it doesn't happen. No, it doesn't happen. Oh, yeah? Like, this guy I know his kids are Jewish. He's not. I don't know how that works. But he said, yeah, they pick on my kids at school. They call him Jew boy. There's anti-Semitism is still really big. I go, dude, they made fun of me for having glasses. Like, kids just make a thing. They find out what your last name is. Anything to tease. It doesn't mean anything. It's surface. They don't beat up a kid because he was gay, because he was sucking another kid's dick. Kids don't suck dicks. So if you have an example of some dumb teasing thing, it's not a phenomenon. And kids being rude and picking on other kids, you can't stop that, and you shouldn't stop that. It's a normal part of being a kid. Life's tough, kids. Get used to it. Then there's this shit. What's this again? Oh, yeah, that's the lesbian saying role-playing and cosplay helps them be empowered. And then what's the third one? Sorry to repeat this, but I got to put it in the... I got to put it in this video so it's all one coherent point that sums it all up. This is Amethyst and Friends. Oh, this one is particularly bad. Remember this when she gets mad about being purple?
Join our circle, doesn't matter if you're white or black or purple. What the? Whoa. Hold up a minute here. Ugh, who wrote this? I think it kind of does matter that I'm purple. I mean, I'm purple because I'm literally an alien.
Well, I'm not an alien, but it definitely matters to me that I'm black. Yeah, it makes a difference that I'm white.
Imagine kids watching this. Like, think of the Sanjay and Craig Unbarfable episode, and then they turn this shit on. And it's a woman pretending to be gay, doing gay propaganda to appease other women who are probably not even gay either. Who is this gay? This is like fucking all these rainbow flags everywhere. Did anyone even ask gays if they want all this shit? Anyway. It's just amazing how smashing the patriarchy is our number one goal on the far left, destroying white males, making sure that the whole power structure is ripped down because it's systemic and evil, and it's ruining our children. And we step aside, and what happens? A weaker sex comes in and ruins everything they touch. And we're left in a scenario where shitty cartoons that bore our kids to death is the best case scenario, because the worst case scenario is we are grooming our children for sex so they can be raped by degenerate perverts. I'm not big on either of those options, but the second one is a little scarier. So ladies, please get out of the way and let the men handle it, because you ruin everything.